just scale. You know, where's the Smolder, where's the Zeri, where's the late game win cons, where's the, as we did put it, insurance policy. I think that we saw in game 1. Obviously, we did not see in game 2. The Bard continues to be banned here. The Jhin, obviously, Fearless banned. So that's good for Gen G in terms of the champs that T1 has relied so heavily upon.
Well, Trundle going to join the ban list here. Nico is still standing out quite a lot, as Wukong and Pantheon are going to be the big ones to look out for in this game, I am pretty sure. Especially with the Troll King joining the ban list. So let's see what T1 do decide to take away here. It could just be Wukong now, so you can ban both of them and really limit that jungle pull. And that might be what they're looking for here.
The Rumble pick is still kind of lurking. I wonder if Gen G ban the Aurora again. They could be fishing for it first here. Although they banned the Trundle, which would leave open the Ornn counter pick for Doran if T1 wanted to go that way. There's the Aurora ban. So interesting to see that on T1's side, perhaps looking for it themselves. They keep banning this away from Keen.
And it does mean now that the Wukong Pantheon would need to be a trade, or they're both just going to be left up. And it looks like at least one of them is going to be getting left up here as the Rakan is taken away instead. I feel like Gen G are looking for a Kai'Sa draft. I have no idea why. That's just what I'm feeling in my waters. My waters have been weird, though, and I did predict the 3-0 that is now impossible.
I think they just are respecting Keria super heavily. And Keria, we talked about Oner a ton, obviously, in Game 2, but Keria's Alistar was insane, as Chronicler did mention.
There it is.
And it looks like T1 feel the same way as you did there. We'll ban that Kai'Sa away from Ruler, so...
I did get a bottle of water from the same fridge as Tom. I did watch him get his bottle of water out of the same fridge. So
we all get our
waters are the same.
We all get bottles of water out of that fridge.
Then why didn't you feel the Kai'Sa angle?
Because I got hot water out of the water.
Ah, see? You didn't even go to the fridge. Don't be like that. Okay, the Nico is going to be the consideration here for the first pick, giving Duro a lot of extra engage potential. That is going to be a big one. Also, removing that one from Keria could be a great idea as well.
You've got to get the Wukong here now as T1. You don't want to give Wukong and Nico over to Gen G. The question is what comes with it. Sivir, quite strong angle here with Jarvan removed, and tons of great wave clear. It's a safe scaling pick here for Guma. Pantheon going to be the response, and I'm okay with this pick. I think it's quite strong, but I think it needs to have a strong side laning champion with it so that it can be able to deal with, because Sivir is going to be constantly pushing those waves in mid. You need to be able to find value with this Pantheon pick in sides. It needs to be empowered by something that is going to win those side lanes.
I kind of just want to see...
And that Gwen fits the bill.
Gwen could be fine, as...
There's no Aurora.
There is a Rumble for Doran to hop towards if you would like to. We've seen Wukong Rumble get a lot of value. But Gwen isn't... It doesn't feel as bad in the Rumble matchup these days. Did lose some armor, not necessarily the magic resist, so isn't too worried about that one. Keen is also, as you've mentioned before in this series, Keen very good at going like 0-2 and then just not being phased. This guy seems pretty untiltable, but this is a big pick for Doran.
I mean, he could have gone
fighting on the Jax, so good.
He could have gone for something completely different, right? He could have gone for the Rumble you mentioned. He could have even gone like Jace or Gnar. But he's like, no, I'm going to fight fire with fire. Super confident to lock this one in. And his Jax has been phenomenal. All of our top players have had such a great Jax that's kind of been teched into some of these drafts, and used to be kind of a thing that was tied to Sejuani, but no longer here in the LCK. So we're still looking for the mid pick here for Chovy. We don't know what that's going to be just yet. Same for Faker, right? But I want something that has good wave clear. Zeri, we're going to be banned away from Ruler.
Going to deny that one, as of course Sivir Zeri has been picks that have been traded in the past. Ruler's champion pool is going to take a bit of a hit here already with the Kai'Sa being banned away. No Zeri as well. The Sivir already locked in, and Gumayusi feeling happy about that one, as Lulu will be taken away from Keria, so his champion pool is what's going to be pinched on the side of T1.
It just empowers so many different scaling picks, and it's kind of a scale off here, I think, for the bottom lane in terms of what we're going to see. And like with the Lulu plus Wukong gives the Sivir such free laning here, and then the ability to then blow up champions when the Wukong gets wild growth is just too strong. So Smolder, I guess it's a scale off. They're like, no, we have Sivir, taking away the Zeri, taking away the Smolder. There's no Corki. What is going to be the pick here for Ruler? I mean, Ezreal feels pretty safe here, to be honest, for Gen G.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Jinx, personally, but we just don't really see that much Jinx these days. Jinx used to be a pick into the Sivir quite often, although Mega Inferno Bomb can be spell shielded. It is just the range advantage feels pretty good, but the Nautilus is going to be what they decide to take away.
I mean, there's an angle where they do the opposite and try to look for like an extremely strong laning pick. The Lucian doesn't have Braum, but
Nico Callista?
Nico Callista was the one I had in mind. Like, you have to snowball the game. Win conditions narrow. Like, when we talked about, it's not the late game scaling option we were asking for, but certainly is an option they could go for if they don't want to go for the Jinx or the Aphelios or the Senna, God forbid.
Yeah, and you do have ways to snowball things early, and then Gwen can work as some late game insurance, as Faker will lock away the Taliyah. And let's see what Chovy's answer to it is going to be. A lot of the choices were in the AD carry position. The Xayah going to be the consideration here for Ruler.
I don't like that as much. Lucian doesn't have Braum, though. You don't have Rakan either.
I just don't feel like Xayah necessarily gets a massive amount of value when there's so many different ways and forms of CC.
Like, Nico Xayah gets you through the laning phase because the Nico is so incredibly strong. In the lane, but Sivir has Spell Shield.
Well, this is the Showmaker special that we saw the other day.
This kind of works because they're so reliant on their Jax and Wukong to get on top of the backline that you can protect the Xayah with this a little bit more. It helps empower the Gwen. It's a lot of burst damage, but Spell Shield's value just keeps going up here for the Sivir.
Oh, we're still hovering it here as Duro. Let's see what it will just be the Ahri. And that actually makes me feel a whole lot worse. Sonar is going to be hovered by Keria. We'll see what he does actually decide to lock away.
I mean, it's not that bad here, actually. When you consider this movement speed plus Sivir's ultimate, kind of crazy. Karma, a little bit more reliable, a little bit more common. And hard push.
Yep, we've seen the Sivir Karma so many times.
Yeah, it's kind of a barrel special with aiming. They're really the team that played it the most. Tough time here for Gen G, but definitely a playable draft.
It certainly is. Jumping to the Rift here for game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Faker with the opportunity to lane up against his skin on the Ahri, which is pretty cool. Nice of Chovy to show him that one, as of course, Faker does not use skins in the mid lane. Also hasn't played Ahri in a while, although it is a pretty iconic champion for the player, as is all of the champions in League of Legends.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of caught myself on that one. I was like, hang on, we can't list it because the list would be too long and the game would be over.
I mean, like, you're like, hey, you wouldn't say Lulu, right? You're like, well, actually, in fact.
As it turns out, one of his most played, to most people's chagrin. Is now Faker in a bit of trouble, speaking of which. Keen running with scissors, we know that's dangerous. He is going to have to go back. The minions should crash.
Yeah, I don't know if he has to TP here, but it's not ideal.
He is Taliyah, so he does run a bit faster.
I think let's see what he decides to do. He really doesn't want to TP. I think he just barely gets back and loses like a little bit, but not too much here. It's going to be fine. So that could have been a disaster. It doesn't have to flash ultimately, but is going to put him significantly behind in this lane.
Yep. He'll miss out on experience from one minion, which can actually be annoying.
The thing is, if he TPs and then Chovy just procs electrocute twice, then he's like in an even worse spot, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. As Keen dashes out of the way of the counter-striking Jax. And we are just going to see these two top laners hit each other a bunch of times and try to hit CS at the same time, is basically how this one's going to look. See how Keen is able to navigate it, especially with Gwen in the position that she is now. This used to be a matchup that we saw quite often when Gwen was a whole lot stronger than she is now. So it could be more difficult for Keen to navigate as Doran hits that level 2. Leap strikes in. Stun does go down, but he gets into the brush in time. So I think Keen might be all right.
Doran.
Another leap strike. Man, Doran is really putting the hurt onto Keen here in this early laning phase.
You know, there are some days where you're like, Doran is feeling himself. He's in complete control of the lane. It's not the day where you're like, I'm not sure if Doran is crazy or a genius. It feels like today he is calculated, Doran. He's completely locked in. As this has been pretty favorable for Taliyah.
And it's only Showmaker that can win this matchup, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because we have seen this
little Rise group stat.
Yeah, we have seen this attempted so many times, though, be it the Rise group or the Legend group. This is what a whole lot of players feel is a playable matchup, is the Ahri into the Taliyah. But we haven't really seen too much of that proven. As Keen down to 200 health here, Doran shoving this wave forward.
Shouldn't matter too much since it's very impossible to dive, I think, at this point. I mean, Doran may look for something.
Yeah, oh, does do a lot of damage there with that Empower. And only needs a little bit more. As the circle comes down, the answering flash is good. Doran didn't pick up the turret aggro. But Doran, I think, has enough of a lead to be able to get himself out of the way here. So Canyon just going to protect Keen while he picks up these minions.
That was very scary for Doran, and does have to flash, so his advantage kind of washed away there off of that play. And if Canyon flashes and stuns him there, if he's a little bit faster to rotate over, then it could have really backfired, but he does get away with his life.
Yep, Gen.G get the information that there is a monkey in the area, but we can see that the monkey did go home. Still, fair bit of pressure here on this bottom lane as the Karma Sivir doing exactly what we expect, and that is shoving wave after wave into this Xayah Neeko. Really nullifying the Neeko's early power as Seismic Shove going to be able to find Chovy here. Faker being able to bounce back relatively well, even though he is still behind by a little bit.
Canyon going to come down here to the bottom lane. We'll be able to clear these Krugs, but might actually look for a gank as well. This pressure does continue, as you said, the Karma is just really controlling this one. That's one of the only things that Neeko doesn't just kind of auto-win against in so many matchups, because of her ability to help push waves. And
wow, this minion wave is very large.
It's pretty big, this control ward. High value.
Yeah. Keen, I think, knows that there is something happening here. As he's just, can't even get the cannon. And Doran very happily picking up all of this farm. Really nicely played. As Keen is able to move down, clears out this control ward, and realizes now that he can move a little bit further up. Does have a level advantage, which is kind of crazy. As Chovy walks over some rocks once again. Faker throwing a whole bunch of them around here in this lane. Nice charm will connect. Orb of Deception there as well for some extra damage, but you can see Faker is feeling fine.
Turo hanging out up here, but I don't think there's really anything he can do unless Doran makes a mistake. As we are going to see the backs to come through.
Yep.
And you see Ruler is heading back down to the bottom lane. And so it's just going to be a complete reset here. And Duro as a minion will return to the bottom lane as well. And Faker laning here pretty well, despite the early level 1 shenanigans where he was forced to back. Didn't really end up falling too far behind. And it's a quiet early game here. You know, we had the attempt from Doran there that did not work. The lack of flash hasn't been punished yet. Put the wave in a really good spot, so ended up really denying some farm there from Keen again.
Yep, Duro dodging a Q, unfortunately, as the tether is still going to land. Keria taking a bit from the Blooming Burst, but you can see Ruler looking a little worse for wear himself. And this ricochet damage in these fights is going to be really, really important to look out for. If you're a Gen.G fan, killing Gumayusi is going to be really hard because he's got a lot of tools around him to peel, but also, like, because everyone's so short range, the ricochet value is just going to be immense.
He's just always going to be doing oodles of damage when we get to the late games. Canyon not quite going to be able to steal this one away.
Yeah, he's charged up a spear, so looking a little bit scary, but Shape Splitter gives information that there is an Oner and a Keria in the area. Looks like Canyon not going to go for anything, as no neutrals have been started up just yet. We have the grubs in about a minute, but the dragon has been somewhat ignored for now.
This top side is just continuing to be an issue for Keen. Like, the deficit, it's not massive, but it gets like it's a little bit bigger every wave, it feels like here, as Doran is now having this wave pushing over. Faker does have his ult, and they could look for a play. Keen potentially caught.
Yep, there's the counter-strike. It's actually going to get the value here as the Seismic Shove pushes him back. No flash available, and there's first blood going over to Doran's Jax.
And a great play from Faker there. And even with the Global Pantheon, Canyon's just too far away. The observers instantly pan to the Pantheon that's on the wrong side of the map to assist Keen. And that's just a great call there from Faker. Comes over and sets up the play there with Doran. No summoners needed to get that pick onto Keen, who was flashless from that earlier exchange. Big win for T1 in this early game. Starting to get this Jax online. We'll watch it again. Look at the rotation over from Faker here. And the Weaver's Well is not going to cut him off, but the Counter-Strike certainly will. There's just nowhere to go. The rocks are down. The shove is good. Kill goes to the Jax. Just been putting on that pressure all game long.
Man, got pretty close to having the dash back off cooldown again, but just unable to make that one work. And so the Gwen was not immune, and that means the Doran is just going to be so scary. Canyon started off these grubs. As Oner comes on in to try and grab this control ward, will be able to do so. The grubs are going to lose interest relatively soon, and there they go. As Keen does pick up this wave here in this mid lane, avoids the boomerang blade here from Gumayusi as Duro.
No level 6.
Level 5, yeah.
If he has 6, this is a very different situation. Still, Keen is already hitting a little bit.
Yeah, this the snips, when they get charged up, a little bit frightening.
Faker doesn't have his ult to cut anybody off since he used it for that play on the top side, but I still think T1 have a really strong core here as long as they don't get themselves caught in this choke, because Oner has flash and ult. He can access almost anybody.
Yeah, Ruler in a little bit of trouble here. Does have Featherstorm, but does not want to use it in the 1v1 against Doran.
Has flash and his ult's back up. Like, that was very scary.
Yeah. And now you've got Ruler having to go back home. Doran actually might be able to get a fair bit of work done towards this turret. As Ruler, of course, using his own skin. Very cute there. Didn't mention that earlier on, but of course, got that one in 2017.
That should be Dragon in exchange here for T1, you have to think, as Oner is clearing his jungle on his way over to that full control they have on the bottom side. TP is going to come through from Keen, who was holding the mid wave here, but so many plates, like you said, go over, and they get the Dragon. Denying the grubs for the Jax is a big win, and also if Keen gets some time to hit turrets, which he should later on, this is going to be a big win for GenG, but in the immediate game state, definitely feels like a trade up for T1 and take a small 500 gold lead here at 9.5 minutes, plus the Dragon.
Yep, not too bad at all. Seismic Shove going to connect onto Chovy once again as well. Hasn't pressed his R button or anything like that, but is a little bit frustrated about taking a bit of extra damage. So it is going to be 3 grubs traded for 1 Dragon, but also Jax with a lot of spare time and almost 400 gold lead here as well. But it is a CS lead that's actually been put together by Keen with that extra time that he picked up in the mid lane as well. Good lane management by GenG to make sure that that one happens. But the one who paid the price was Ruler. Who's down 20 CS in comparison to Gumayusi, who has just been running the wave, running the lane alongside Keria.
It's not going to be fun to catch waves into Sivir for the mid game, which we're heading to here very shortly. But still going to be a threat later on. Is down an item right now. He hasn't actually been able to back and purchase one. Faker, not quite able to get that minion, fortunately for him. The game is still a quiet one. It's still quite the calm early game here with some big leads on both sides, right? The grub's significant. Chovy gets shoved again.
Yeah, just kind of collecting those.
And
didn't have rocks on the ground, but is going to be able to pick up the cannon. And let's see what...
snipe him?
Yeah, not actually going to happen. The rock just barely out of range, and the Mantra Q not quite going to work out there as well.
That was a really cool idea there from Keria. He's like, I'm definitely not going to be able to see this guy. He's got flash, but trying to look for enough poke damage there from Faker to look for the burst. Almost enough there to catch Chovy, but he does get away.
Yeah, it wasn't quite enough in the end.
Not really too much of a punish attempt here from GenG on the bottom side of the map. Canyon's coming over now. Doran has flash and ult, though.
Feels like Keen is just getting scarier and scarier in this game, though, despite that first blood going over to Doran.
Isn't that just the story of Keen?
It is how it works, isn't it?
It's like Keen's like, he's having a little bit of a tough time, you know, the matchup's a little bit volatile, but then later on you're like, man,
I'm starting to get, like, I'm getting conditioned by you saying that Keen's having a tough time for that to mean, oh, so Keen's going to hard carry in the late game. Oh, that's how that one's going to work. Because you didn't say that in game 2.
Yeah.
And that was the game things didn't go well for GenG. And Keen being on a damage deal, going to be the biggest of deals.
He did have like a gold lead on the side actually last game.
Yes,
as well.
he did.
Yeah, he is quite scary. And we mentioned it in the game 1 with the Camille, his Gwen specifically. Like sometimes he falls behind, does not matter. See how much further he'll fall behind though with Oner showing up here with Keria.
Yeah.
We have Duro in waiting.
Yeah, he is going to be able to spot that there is a monkey in the area. Doran is taking a bit of damage, though, as he does get himself out, but that is plates guaranteed.
Plate gank.
There we go. And those are lucrative. Absolutely. Still, Keen is able to pick up all of these minions.
It's so
no
cool.
worries there at all.
It's so cool how much agency you have, though, as T1 in this draft. Like, when you have the Sivir pushing in mid lane, you know, as GenG, you're like, do we want to force something here? It's like, probably not, you know? Because it's going to be a faster rotation over of Guma in this case. If they did commit to it earlier, he would have been faster on the play. Now they're still like trying to make something happen, but it's Jax who has a Karma with him. You know that Oner's in the area with his ultimate, so hard to actually make anything of this. And so still sit on that 400 gold lead. And I think Gen G really want to be ahead in this game quite significantly at this stage, and they're not.
Yeah, nice little charm is going to connect onto Faker here, but he's throwing a whole lot of rocks around. Actually flashes to get out of the way of this Grand Starfall from Canyon, and they look for the dive. There's the flash stun, and they lock down the kill. Still, Canyon is going to be taken out, so a 1-for-1 from the GOAT outside of the top outer turret.
Hashtag just Faker things on that one. Flashes instantly when he sees the ult, gets into turret range before Canyon can lock him down in a safe location for that to be a trade. Has his rocks and shoves set as he dies, and the death rattle comes through as the turret takes Canyon out. So a heavy commitment here by the jungler, who has to flash as well, still gets taken out. The reaction from Faker here is so instant, by the way. It's actually kind of absurd. But because he trades here with Chovy, he is in kill range. Pantheon finally decides it's time to come up here and make the play. Did he just actually see it? Did he flash before he even saw that?
It's kind of insane.
Like, I
barely saw anything.
I think he actually flashed before it even came through. He was like, nah, I see the angle. Oh, actually, maybe he was on the ward. I think actually maybe Cannon was on that ward when he started channeling the ultimate.
It could have been something like that.
Yeah,
but even noticing that is kind of absurd regardless. Still going to be able to get Faker the 1-for-1 trade. It does mean that Faker is off the map and isn't able to pick up that top outer turret. Wave that did crash into the turret, so still going to be working out relatively well for Gen G.
Still worth for them. Just very impressive from Faker.
Yep. It's always good to appreciate. As Canyon is going to face check and isn't feeling fantastic about it. On the hunt is Gumayusi. His ruler going to rotate over, but it's mainly just to watch this Pantheon die. And so Canyon's woes continuing here in this early stage of this game. I guess moving towards the mid game here now.
These wards, this setup here, like assuming the ward was the reason why Faker was able to react that quick with so high value, then they spot him and take him out again. As now Faker's looking for a Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, Ruler might need to ult here as the seismic shove is going to pick him up. Let's see whether the Pop Blossom is going to come on through. There it is. Duro going to have to flash out of the way though. The rocks go wide, but still, that is double ultis on cooldown,
plus
as well
flash.
As a flash for this Nico.
Even a heal. Keen is going to try to get some value here in the side lane with 3 grubs on this Gwen. Will be answered by a teleport. He got some damage done. He wasn't able to get the significant punch back they were looking for.
As Doran just getting zoned away here momentarily. Needlework comes out as Faker throws an entire volley at Keen. Does have to flash, as he didn't quite have his circle back available yet again. So more summoner spells being picked up by this Talia. Faker is really feeling himself here today.
You know, he didn't make the error in game 1. I think we have to acknowledge that, but otherwise he's a man possessed today.
Yeah. And Doran going to look for a little bit of an angle here. Gets the ulti out of Chovy. Actually a big deal, as he's not going to be resetting in any fights coming on up, as Double Dragon being considered here by T1. Got a little bit close to an Earth, Wind, and Fire. Thankfully, we do have an angle for it, as it's another Ocean Soul, second in a row. And that's Feats of Strength locked in for T1 as well, as all 3 games, early game has belonged to them, as Doran going to get stunned up, does flash away, but it looks like it's going to be this turret going on over to Gen G.
There's 2 turrets under threat here for Gen G at the same time. We won't see Faker commit for this one, but the Herald dropped in mid with this wave here. It should just be a trade of turrets. Doran does lose his flash, but it's not really a trade-up for Gen G, and the game state for them is not where they want it to be.
Oh dear.
And this is going to be a collapse for sure.
Yeah, there's a Rift Herald on our way down here, as Faker is going to try and shove Keen. It doesn't quite work out here, as the Rift Herald is just going to bypass. They pick up the turret, and now the Cyclone on top of the Gwen. No way for him to get out of that, and that is just Oner once again taking control here in game 3.
Yeah, I cannot stress enough like how much power you have when you have control over the map with this composition for T1, but when you have a Herald on top of it, you're just taking turrets in both lanes. There's no safe place for Keen. Like, he's like, oh, maybe I'll get back to my turret. Oh, it's a Wukong coming down to gank me and kill my turret. There's no place that's safe. He has his ultimate available, takes Keen out. And again, Faker is just making these aggressive plays, and there's always a follow-up. There's always more than just what meets the eye. When you have Faker in a side lane, got to be considerate of what could happen with that Rift Herald. Keen, it's not like Keen was playing super greedy or aggressively there, but does get caught nonetheless.
Yep. And sometimes you just don't expect a Rift Herald to come down and destroy your turret when there is no minion wave. So a little bit unfortunate there for Keen, but still was overextended and did see Oner get back into that Rift Herald, so it's likely that he was heading somewhere down as he's looking to do the play one more time, this time without the Cyclone, but we'll see whether that actually matters as the Weaver's Wall comes down. Charm is going to miss, and Chovy has to eat so many rocks and has to flash, as now the turnaround potentially coming in here as Keen looking for the angle, wanting revenge onto this Talia. As the needlework comes out, Chovy finds the charm, as Gumayusi finds himself so far away from the rest of his team, but maybe that's part of the play as they go 2 for 1. I guess the backline ganking Sivir kind of worked out.
No, it absolutely worked out in the end. I think Guma thought he's priced into it, he's going to go for the play regardless. And even though Ruler's still alive and he's an AD carry, there's just no way for, with these low health bars, Gen.G to continue the play. T1 back away, knowing that without their main source of damage, they're not going to be able to do anything else there. They don't leave Gen.G the opportunity to try to get anything else back there. And Guma's sacrifice does work out in this case. And it's just, look at the vision for T1. Like, they can see how far away the Pantheon is. They know that the Xayah is behind the play in mid because he's laying it to Sivir. You know, like, they have so much power, they have so much vision, they can just go, Chovy's past the river. It's not allowed. We're going to go kill him. This teleport here from Keen buys some time. And look at where Guma is. He's on the left side of this fight. He has a spell shield here. Decides to flash for the kill because he's probably not going to get out either way. So he guarantees that kill, plus a ton of extra damage as his teammates retreat.
And it was actually, it confused the heck out of Canyon as well, because he wanted to join Keen and actually fight the front line, but then there was a Sivir in his back line, like doing crazy stuff. So, and it meant that he was happy feeding through a lot of that team fight, and I kind of don't blame him, because I would have also been a little bit confused.
It was bizarre, but I think it was definitely a great call from T1 as Canyon maybe caught again. He's rooted.
Yeah. See where he can get himself out of this one as the Cyclone does come in there from Oner, looks for the angle, but Canyon is able to flash his way to safety. Ruler now in an awkward position as Faker is teleported in, trying to get these feathers down. As Doran also rotating around from that top side. Otacon has just spawned, which is why we're getting a bit antsy, I could imagine, on this Rift right now. 2,000 gold, not the be-all and end-all, and it looks like Gen.G with a decent angle on this mid lane. And it's just a wall that comes down, so no Talias to need to get off it this time around.
Nope, just going to try to stop that push, and we'll reset here as Gen.G had a lot of control. Yep. With the timing of this reset from Doran, he may have to TP in. If we see Gen.G look for the Otacon startup, Keen does a ton of damage, even just on one item here. The Gwen is just going to help rush this down, so T1 have to be quick on the rotation. I think Doran will have to TP in very quickly here. There it is, the top side.
Yep, Oner's going to be moving in. I mean, T1 have full information as to what's going on here, and Keen's already down to 50% health. Ruler trying to get some damage down. Gen.G are going to be looking for the turn as Oner moves on over, and now Chovy looking for the angle. Pop Blossom connects, finds only one as Faker flashes his way out. Doran avoids all of the feathers so beautifully, and it's the Nico that goes down first. The Wukong steals away the Otacon. Of course Oner does. The man's playing like a beast today. Keen does manage to find the value, and now it's Ruler's turn to pop off as Canyon trying to run his way out. The seismic shove doesn't find the angle, but he still jumps onto a rock as Doran's so scary. Finds the empower, takes down the Pantheon, and it's Chovy and Ruler left alive in the end. But the Otacon goes to T1.
Yeah, the Otacon goes to T1. Canyon was on the left side of that fight, and it was a Gwen versus a Wukong there in the Otacon exchange. So advantage jungler in that case, and Gen.G here kind of trying to force this flank, and look at Chovy. He thinks he has the angle here. With the Nico follow-up, the stun comes through, Faker flashes away, the charm here onto Oner, and then look at where Canyon is. He's not in smite range. So it just goes over to the Wukong here. Keen trying his best to do something, maybe steal it away. Does end up getting the kill as well as he goes down. And Canyon gets the snipe, but he will cost him big with Faker and Doran here. Canyon has to walk up to avoid Faker's rotation of spells.
Yeah, just finds one of the rocks on the side there, but kind of did jump right into it. A little bit unfortunate, but still great play from T1, really showing the value of Talia in these team fights.
This looks like what the Legend Group games all looked like for so much of rounds 3 to 5, where if you get a small lead, you just take over the game. Gold lead-wise, not that huge here, but when you look at the fights and how T1 have been so dominant, how clean they've been looking in side lanes, the fact that the Sivir is going to scale, it's really horrific if you're a Gen.G fan right now. They've been trading a little bit here in sides, and it looks like they want to try to pressure this inner turret here. But T1, 3 objectives to 0 here in terms of dragons as well, and Faker's just going to ult in.
Yeah, Chovy, speaking of ulting in, is just going to ult towards the turret. Kind of crazy. Is Doran here towards his bottom side? It will be the teleport from Keen to try and stop him from just bonking down this inner turret.
And I think we need to contextualize a little bit here that this is a Gen G that just lost it since LCK Cup, lost its first best of 5 to KT. Yep. Otherwise, an extremely dominant team, beaten only once by T1 in the regular season, but otherwise a practically perfect year from this squad. No one was able to stop them. No one was able to take them down, and now T1, you know, it's a 1-1 series. The game's not over by any means. It's only 1,000 gold the lead. But the way we're watching this game play out, the jungle difference that we're really feeling here across these games, starting to make you feel, I think, a little bit worried if you're a Gen G fan. And Gen G fans haven't had to worry much this year, right? It's been constant winning, constant success. You lose to KT, but maybe it's just KT things. But now T1 in a commanding position in this game.
Yep, they certainly are. They have all basically gone a very long ways. Now Chovy looking for a bit of an angle, but Gumayusi presses R. He's running pretty quickly, so not going to get charmed up this time around. Chovy just realizing that he does have a fair bit of ability haste here at level 16, so he should have that ulti back up relatively quickly.
And Keen is 1-4. Well, that's where he's at his most dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's like Nuggery all over again.
Yeah, he's got an Asher's Tooth, and he's going to use it, and we'll let the minions do most of the work here on this turret. Although, with Canyon here, I think he should just be able to get it.
Yep, there is the outer turret falling over, so that is going to mean that the gold lead is under 1,000. The problem is there are a lot of intangibles, right? There is feats of strength already there for T1. There's Otacon for T1. They have Soul Point put together. Everything on the Rift that isn't money is theirs.
And everything that we've seen in terms of team fights, the coordination, the cohesion, the side lane pressure that's been applied has been better for T1 as well. Gen G have done such a great job of playing the macro and trading turrets that the game looks incredibly even. But what I'm more worried about is how these compositions collide later on. Now there's so many threats that are online to get on top of the Xayah, who's your main win con here. Chovy is massive, by the way. Like, he's about to get death cap, but he's still an Ahri. And he's going to have to hit his charms, right? Wasn't able to hit the charm on the prio target on his flank on that Otacon play. That was the whole game plan was him hitting that prio target. It did not happen. So we'll see what he can get done. He's level 16 now.
Yep. I think as well, this time Ruler now has an Infinity Edge that he just completes. Thank you, Jonah Strong, for a bit of a zoom in. And he's not Jhin. I think that that's really important. I don't think, you know, I'm sort of back to not liking Jhin very much.
Yeah, and that last comp, I really...
Yeah, really, it's just not a whole lot of damage. Xayah can do a whole lot of damage, even though T1 do have a lot of tools to make her life hard. If she is left unattended, can be a very difficult champion to mitigate.
If T1 botch the engage and you're going down an item as the AD carry into the Featherstorm Meat Grinder, you're in trouble. Chovy may be in trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be able to find the charm onto Faker here and does have to flash.
The placement of the rocks and the shoves have been so good for Faker.
Yeah, and every time Chovy's in a side lane, he just gets ulted on by Faker.
Yeah, and like he has to flash. If you put the rocks on top of the Ahri first, then force, like, she has to react, and then you put the shove behind it. She can't dash because she's on the rocks, so she has to flash. And he's done it so many times now. And so, I mean, it's really Chovy's only option with the placement there and the angle of the Weaver's Wall from Faker. Level 16 himself. Now on the Rift, there's 50 seconds until this Ocean Soul will spawn. Well, potentially Ocean Soul, of course.
We may actually see a team fight once again between these two squads. The only one that we've had in this game feels like that Otacon fight that did go T1's way. Oner on such a good team fighting champion here as well. He has been in such good form today.
Ruler and Keen have to do so much heavy lifting in this fight. Keen does have that arm guard he was able to buy. Will really help him out. Same can be said of Doran, of course, but that Gwen damage is going to be massive if you can get just a little bit of time.
Oh, Chovy off on a flank angle. Does get the Warrior Trickster out of Oner, but it's not a massive cooldown. Seismic Shove going to go wide this time. Canyon able to walk that one off. Gen G with control of the river for the moment as Doran gets charmed up. But there's the Cyclone. Into the backline goes Oner, but he's kind of alone and hasn't really used his ultimate for much. Does flash to get himself to safety. As in goes Doran now. He will go golden, but this is so disjointed, and Keen is going to get on top of Gumayusi. goes golden himself by so much space, but where's the follow-up? Keen just runs and will get shoved back towards Faker and takes a huge rock. That is going to be the dragon secured with the feather pullback, and now I think Doran may eventually die, although no, he doesn't. He has leap strike, so he's just fine. Keen for dragon is the trade for now.
Keen's sacrifice means that Ocean Soul doesn't go over to T1, but that's the end of the good news because T1 are full health. I mean, mostly full health here, at least. Doran has TP, so they're just going to come right over here to Baron control, force a reaction out of Gen G. They'll get Chovy's TP. He's going to come over here and clear this wave. But there's not a whole lot of vision here for Gen G, so T1 should be able to get these backs away for free. And the fight's a little bit split up here. It looks like Oner practically loses his patience almost with Chovy. Missing that last charm, he's like, I'm going to get on top. Has to flash. That's actually really significant. I think if Oner is really in the thick of this fight with his Cyclone, it is never as close as it is now. And then T1 are able to make the correct decision to go on to Keen. And during this arm guard, Gen G decide Dragon over team fight, which I think is correct. A lot of teams, I think, turn there and try to fight with Keen and let the Dragon go. Ruler with the feathers, you mentioned, secures the Dragon.
And Doran almost dies to the feathers, by the way.
Yeah, insane, because this is a Fed Zaya on 3.5 items.
And that's why I kind of thought Gen G were going to be able to fight for this, right? Because they had the item spike before Gumayusi onto Ruler. This guy, I mean, he has a skin for this champion for a reason. He is very, very good at navigating team fights with the Zaya, even if it is a tough composition to fight into. Still something that T1 need to respect and figure out a way to deal with. Right now, there is now 3 items onto Gumayusi. He has hit that break point. These ricochets are going to absolutely tear through Gen G.
Weaver's Wall here. They have incredible turn on this Baron. If Oner hadn't had to flash in that last team fight, they might actually consider starting this, but instead they're just going to keep playing around vision, keep getting these free backs and forcing Gen G to come over and clear vision. Keen is going to get some alone time in the side lane right now and does have teleport, so I think Gen G are feeling pretty okay with this situation since they can now go over and clear this vision.
Yep.
Keen getting closer and closer to level 16, a huge threat in this game. Even though he's 1-5, make no mistake, this Gwen is incredibly powerful and has so much staying power because of her mist.
Yeah, it's actually like, I don't know. It is just Gwen things, but it's also Keen things, so it's kind of compounded. You know, it's just a very scary 1-5 champion. We just don't see that all that often. Is Chovy going to get attacked by Baron here momentarily? Clears out the ward, though, so does do what he wanted. Yeah, he's at 305 CS here at 30 minutes into the game. Not too bad, but still sitting on the same 3 items that he was on a little while ago. As T1 will be able to clear out this one cheeky ward.
You can see the tempo is always T1's. Even when Gen G clear the vision, they have to then leave and T1 can get it back. Keen wasn't able to hit that inner turret like he wanted. Had to back away in case of a T1 potential startup. He does have that teleport though, so I think could be playing through the side lane a little bit more aggressively than he is right now.
Yeah, Chovy going to be moving over here as well as Faker finds the rocks. Man, that reaction is absurd.
Faker is telepathic today.
Yeah, seriously.
Or maybe he could just see the future. We don't know, but
he also did see Chovy move on over there, but I don't know whether he could have really predicted him to immediately just ult over the wall on top of him. But maybe that's just the way.
I mean, it's a free ult, though. I mean, that's massive.
Yeah, no.
He just shuts it down, and he's like, nice try. And Keen continues to kind of push a wave into the turret, but then leave. And is kind of otherwise farming hard here, trying to buy that Zhonya, so you have to imagine, as his completed 3rd item, he is backing right now. See if he has the money for it. Would really love to have that extra safety. Just picks up a piece of it, the Rod of Ages. Very expensive item, Zhonya. So he has now the big components. So maybe on his next back, he will have it.
Yeah.
In fact, just hanging out in the fountain right now. But okay, yeah, he does have it. Okay, so he was just like maybe like 50 gold off, so spinning around and gets it there.
Yeah, both, in fact, Keen and Doran completing the Zhonyas at the same time. So repairing their arm guards after the last fight. Nicely done. 50 seconds on the Dragon once again.
So crazy that Keen's on item parity with this Jax, despite being 1-5, and is still going to be able to make such a huge impact in this upcoming fight here.
Yeah.
T1 are not out of this yet.
There's also a huge shutdown on Doran as well. If they're ever able to get that kill, it is a huge deal.
Item advantage still in the hands of Ruler as well for this next fight. Death cap for Faker, as you mentioned.
Oh, man.
This could be the fight that decides the game here if it's won swingingly by one side. And we're 32 minutes in. It feels like we're not that late because this game's been kind of just a lot of side laning and a lot of pressure, but not a whole lot of really big team fights. But this is going to be one of them.
Yeah, Ruler with 4 items complete as well. Like that Bloodthirster on top of everything. He is very, very frightening and can now play a whole lot more aggressively with that extra shield, with the extra lifesteal. But that is going to be a phenomenal shove. Chovy has to go golden at the beginning of this fight as now Doran looking for the angle, tries to get the counter-strike, but they take down Chovy. That's the biggest part of it. Faker gets into the backline. Duro just melting so incredibly quickly. King goes golden, but I don't think he's surviving for much longer, and Oner will finish off the Gwen. The entire topside are destroyed. Ruler and Duro not knowing what to do next as they destroy the team fight.
It's a smash win in the team fight for T1. The shoves from Faker, the Talia has just been out of control this game, and now just a lone bot duo trying to defend against this massive push from T1 to bring themselves to match point.
Let's see whether they can actually finish it here as Doran going in, flashes forward to get on top of Ruler, and of course the seismic shove there. This game is over, ladies and gentlemen, and T1 have match point now for the next 2 games at least. And they could